our reaction to the 34 guilty verdicts. I might even go through and give you an idea of what he was found guilty of. All of the misdemeanors that he was found guilty of turned felonies. Just so that they could strategically have this trial right now. So again, share this video so people know a little bit what's going on. Cash might jump on. I don't know. We haven't heard from him in a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, we're live on X. We're live on all the different things. So again, like the video, and then we'll go on. Casey, what's your initial reaction of what happened, and then we'll break down the what went on today in the kangaroo court banana republic that we are.
Yeah, we're in a banana republic. It is pathetic that we can actually turn a judge can manipulate the jury in such a way that just tells them to find anything, which, by the way, everybody tried to crucify Trump for saying find 30,000 votes or whatever it was. This judge practically just told the jury in the deliberations, before the deliberations, said practically just go find something. And here we are.
Yeah. Okay. So to kind of give why, I mean, a lot of the people on the left that are ignorant in this, that are celebrating, which ironically, and Jay is somebody that thought that this was a ridiculous case. And then today he's talking about how, well, he's a felon, it's convicted, even though he knew that this was bullshit a couple weeks ago. But all of a sudden, I knew the verdict would make people emboldened. It emboldens. I'm going to be a little bit frisky today. It emboldens idiots. It emboldens stupidity is what it does. Why are all my black friends posting democracy? I don't know. It's a good question. I mean, this is not democracy. This is a sham. And it's like, we look at it like this. Let's be clear. You can look at what's going on with Hunter Biden's trial with the gun, and the fact that he is being essentially let go on all charges. An actual crime with, breaking the laws that his father put in place decades ago. It shows a non-equal hand of justice. So let's really quick. I want to talk about the guilty charges. So 34 counts. So invoices for legal services, guilty on 11 of 11 charges. Checks paid for legal services, guilty on 11 of 11 charges. Ledger entries for legal expenses, guilty of 12 of 12 charges. So the question becomes, why do I think that this is bullshit? And let me tell you. First off, for people that don't know, these were, and Casey and I had trouble finding, it's actually trouble even on DuckDuckGo to find what we hear consistently being talked about from anybody that is centered or right of center, saying why it's ridiculous. The lawyers coming forward explaining why this is such a sham. So first off, this was 34 counts of misdemeanors that were past the statute of limitations. And Alvin Bragg, after having far too many cheeseburgers, decided the way that to make this happen, in order to get past the statute of limitations, which is, I believe, 7 years, and we're at 8 years from when this all occurred, is to turn it into a felony. And the felony that they are looking for is regarding the idea that this was election interference by this hush money. And again, I think it's comical to think about this being election interference, about not letting this case, or not letting us see what happened with Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen, a known perjurer. The fact that this is what we're fighting for, ignoring the actual fact that Hunter Biden laptop story was actually suppressed during the 2016 election, actual election interference. There's polls that went on afterwards showing that Trump would have won in all the swing states if that would have been allowed to be information to people for them to see. That's actual election interference. This was a hush money trial that was already on loose grounds as a misdemeanor, that in order for it to then become something that they would present now, ironically enough, right before the 2024 election, the October surprise out in May and April, is to have a case that is at a misdemeanor at best turned into a felony for the perspective of getting that marketing claim, that headline, convicted felon Donald Trump. When in all reality, what I'm understanding is this will be the easiest overturn on the planet once it gets to the federal level, no matter who it is. And it's not in a 6% red county or red area, red city, red district where they had the jury pool from. You had actual attorneys on the jury pool. And then the most corrupt part is Judge Merchan not allowing information in. And I will tell you, Judge Merchan, in my assessment, when this is overturned, if it's overturned, because I think that's still a key. Who knows how far the corruption goes? But if this is overturned, Judge Merchan will lose his judgeship. He doesn't care. They will actually, he's made it. He'll make his money. He'll do whatever he needs. He is a hero to the left, even though what he did was complete judicial misconduct. And that will be found if it's overturned. The way that it'll be overturned is by ruining his judicial or judgeship career. Some people, I was on radio earlier and they're like, well, is he going to become, he'll be nominated to the Supreme Court with a leftist? I go, I honestly don't understand how he can continue to be a judge. He did not allow information and experts in the courtroom that would actually be able to disagree with all of the misinformation coming from the right. So that's one of the big issues. Judge Merchan also was not one of the possible selections for this trial. In no way, shape, or form was he even on the list. There's a list of like 20 judges that were in line for this, but Alvin Bragg hand-selected Judge Merchan, who has donated $2,000 to a specifically anti-Trump PAC, but was allowed to maintain his seat as judge on this trial. And then on top of it, his daughter, as we've said many of times, is tied to the Democrat Party. Her business profits when Democrats utilize her marketing services and campaign services. This is as tied to blue as humanly possible. Yet when people are going to say, well, this is the justice system, he was found guilty in a court of law. Well, I will tell you today, the court of law, our judicial branch, our judicial system, the halls of justice has officially fallen today. And if people are like, you're just too much of a Trumper, you're too MAGA, you're ultra MAGA. You have heard me talk on several occasions that I was not a huge fan of Trump going into the 2024 election. At this point, I can't imagine voting for anybody else because he is somebody that has been persecuted, prosecuted, destroyed, annihilated by a political party, which we should not have in the United States of America, no matter how corrupt our government is. This is the last stand of it, is to actually have the judicial branch do something right. And today it is all gone. And to anybody celebrating the end of our democracy, the end of our constitutional republic, fuck you.
Yes, I 100% agree. The biggest thing that we got to remember to look at here is when we are setting this precedent that they can go after him and they can practically just change it on the cuff and charge this individual for whatever they want, means that they could eventually do that to you. That is not a good precedent to be setting. Not at all. This, however, guaranteed a Trump re-election in 2024.
Do you think it did?
Yes.
Do you really think it did?
Dude, X is going nuts right now.
I know, but
that's stopping it.
All it's doing is it's invigorating the base, and his base is 50% strong at best. And if you don't get them all out, that's a problem. I think that we are here. This is the tough thing for me to say because I know it could be used against me. And I think that, and I have to also think, is this a trap? Like you have to push the right so far. Somebody asked me earlier, if he gets found guilty, does the right riot? And I go, the right doesn't riot. We learned our lesson from what was an actual mostly peaceful protest that turned into a gigantic trap on January 6th. We are too big of pussies to protest. So in the back of my mind, I want to say, this is the time where we have to fight for our country. But then at the same time, did they know that is that where they're pushing us to? Are they pushing us to a setup where we will be infiltrated again by Antifa, by dipshits like Corey? Is this where we're going to be infiltrated by paid protesters to continue to malign, to be used as marketing fodder for the left? Like, oh, look at these radical right wingers. But inside of me, I want to say, this is bullshit. This is America. This is a country that I take pride in. Why are we not in the streets when shit like this happens? We are watching the fall of our country, and all we do is do what I'm doing and what you're doing, and we yell at the top of our lungs. Where do we get pushed too far? And then at the same time, are we being pushed too far on purpose for their bullshit agenda? It's so fucking confusing.
Yeah. And it is the biggest, like, the only thing we need to remember, guys, if Trump is elected in 2024, that's where you can really just switch this around in that sense. So it's probably going to, well, it's going to happen. The problem is Republicans need to actually show up. Actually show up. And you guys don't like it when I do this and I call it out, but Republicans don't show up to vote. You think it's a landslide win, you don't show up. And so when Republicans actually show up to vote and actually show up with huge numbers in November, that is where you're going to start with fixing this. There's no fixing it now.
Are you now officially voting for Donald Trump, especially after the
I
Libertarian?
am very freaking close, especially after the disaster over the last 5 days with the Libertarian Party. Yes.
So,
I am
Kayla,
not making friends right now.
I'm going to give you a basic idea. First off, the other thing that Judge Merchan did that is completely unprecedented and actually against the rule of law is Judge Merchan instructed the jurors that they did not actually need to agree on what crime Trump committed to have a guilty verdict, which is unprecedented. It is also against the rule of law. So as long as somebody is like, well, I feel like he was guilty of this, they could actually, and 4 of the other verdicts, a jury said, well, I don't think he was guilty of that. I think he was guilty of this. And then they all disagreed and agreed on different things. As long as they all agreed on some kind of guilt, which, by the way, for all of this to actually be, there's no concrete evidence. All of this, in order to find guilty, you have to actually believe in the word of Michael Cohen, who is a known perjurer, 2 years spent in jail, prison. He is also a guy that has a bone to pick with Trump, posted all these things about him beforehand, that none of this could be found guilty with anything of Stormy Daniels' testimony, which has changed over the last several years of it now being assault. And she, again, completely changed her story, but even there's no purpose to have her up there except for character assassination. She shouldn't have been allowed to testify, but Judge Merchan let it go and then didn't even strike it from the record. So then Michael Cohen's testimony, word of mouth of why he was given money, is the sole factor that all of these convictions are made. All of them are made based on this. So I will, if you want me to, I can speed talk, but I'll tell you the invoices. So the invoices for legal services, that's 11 of 11. Checks paid for legal services, 11 of 11. Ledger entries, 12 of 12. And the funny thing, before I speed read through this, is there was even an element in there where they asked one of the prosecution's witnesses, I think was it Pecker? I can't remember, but it's fucking so fitting that the guy's name is Pecker, by the way. Am I wrong on that? Like, is this like, no. It's might as well have Anthony Weiner and Pecker in a room going against Donald Trump. Right. So, there was a point where they said, did Trump ever sign? This to me would be enough for me to go, meh, gotta drop it. Right. The person that says, does Trump sometimes sign his checks without knowing what they are for? The answer from the prosecution's witness was yes, sometimes. So then they doubled back and said, but what about most times? And they're like, most times he's very meticulous in what it is. Most times cannot be a conviction. There is a burden of proof that is opened up right there when Donald Trump says, or when the prosecution's witness says, yeah, I mean, there's been times he's just signed checks for certain things. That should be enough right there. So here's what we got. Count 1, guilty, invoice from Michael Cohen marked as a record of Donald J. Trump revocable trust. Count 2, entry in the detailed general ledger for Donald J. Trump revocable trust bearing voucher number, whatever it was, guilty. Entry into the detailed general ledger for the Donald J. Trump revocable trust bearing voucher, different number than the last one, guilty. Ultimately, these are all just small little things that are adding up. These are not felonies. The only reason they're making it into a felony is because they're saying it was for the purpose of campaign violations. So technically, if this was somebody else, like Michael Cohen, if Michael Cohen did this willingly, Cash is going to jump on. If Michael Cohen did this willingly and he was the one that did it, technically he would be the one doing election. He would be charged with the felony of election interference. But they're saying Trump willingly did this. So again, all of this is based in Cohen's testimony, a no liar, perjurer, his verbal, like literally just what he says is what went in order to make this conviction. And all this is a bunch of itty bitty tiny misdemeanors that Alvin Bragg, who has received money from George Soros not directly. They have to say that George Soros didn't give him money like this. He donated to a PAC that specifically funded Alvin Bragg's campaign. Yet fact checkers will say, no, he did not give money to Alvin Bragg. Yet it's very blatant that the place that funded Alvin Bragg and several other Democrat DAs got money from the PAC that was done by George Soros. But hey, who am I to point out the obvious? So the last thing I'll say before I know Cash is going to go ham on this is the fact that there is going to be so many people from the left. And if we talk about being divided in this country, it's hard to not be when you look at people celebrating this and thinking it was just. This was just a simple fucked up situation that is based off of political persecution. It defines what is a kangaroo court, which the definition of that is a mock court, one that is hastily improvised and irregularly conducted. This case was jumped to the front of the ledger for the purposes of political gain of the Biden campaign. Biden, who said, "Oh no, this isn't political," had a literal press conference outside. What's that?
An employee. He paid him.
An employee in Robert De Niro giving a press conference that the White House promoted outside of the courthouse. A kangaroo court is characterized by dishonesty or incompetence. There's no reason this trial should have been held so early. There's no reason that specific judge should have been the one on there. There should have been this case should never have even been heard anymore because it was a misdemeanor that all was past the statute of limitations until Alvin Bragg, a corrupt DA that's funded by far left socialists, it was the one that ended up changing the charges to felony in order for it to even be heard right now. This case was a joke. It's a sham. And anybody that is actually in the belief system that this is a good thing and justice was served, you're one, too stupid for words, and two, you unfortunately are celebrating the end of the American way of life in terms of the judicial system until this is overturned and until Trump gets back in office to tell you all to fuck off in November. And I will tell you, after he tells you to fuck off, he's going to treat you like American citizens, which is not the same for the leftist government that we have in there now.
Facts. What up, Cash?
I was in tears on the way home. I'm just kidding.
Tears of joy or sadness?
No,
like I was shaking a little bit. I was angry.
I sat in the parking lot with Champagne and the kids. And I said, when you guys were texting me that, and I said, they found him guilty. You said they did? I said, yeah. And I looked at it, I said, if they could do that to him, they're going to be able to do whatever the hell they want to us.
Yeah. Yep.
They literally just convicted him on false charges, really.
Yep.
Literally.
Well, they changed misdemeanors to felonies. So now he has rights removed. He doesn't have all of his rights anymore.
He won't be able to vote for himself.
Well, I think that will vary on each state, but yeah.
I think New York is the one, and it's so funny.
He won't be able to vote in a state election, in federal election, he can still vote.
Oh, okay. But what's interesting to me is that you've literally, this is the state that allows illegal immigrants to beat up people, to get arrested, and then let out on zero cash bail. This is the state that allows that to happen. Yet something that happened in 2016 that is such loosely based on evidence, they're trying to give, I think that the maximum sentence on this is 20 years, 4 per charge or 20 years total. So they can actually, and the sentencing is July, they can actually sentence the former president of the United States of America to 20 years in jail based on this.
Nah, he's going to get probation.
I agree. But
lock him up. Lock him up.
Nah, let me tell you.
That's only going to add to it. It's only going to add to it.
He's going to be the first president to pardon himself.
Could be.
I mean, because it'll be. I don't think the appeal will be held before then. I don't think it will.
This is insane, though. I mean, they just convicted a former president on some bullshit charges, and they got people out here still running around free that have been known for doing worse things than what they alleged he did.
Right.
Like Bill Clinton literally was getting some head in the Oval Office. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't get it. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it.
Well, I don't think a blowjob is illegal necessarily. So, I mean, I get like that. He lied. The reason why that was impeachment, but I think that like let's compare apples to apples. A well-intentioned senile old man has records from when he wasn't even president that are classified that they're just doing away with, saying no big deal, he's too old. He also just so happens to be the leader of the free world. If you don't see that as the complete lack of equal-handed of justice, it's like, you know what, you want to lock them both up, lock them both the fuck up. Like, that's fine.
No,
like, let's just throw it all away.
It's so crazy though, because Michael Cohen, who has lied and admitted his own wrong on accident, talking about him stealing and all of this, and then Stormy Daniels, who obviously lied, she switched both of her stories up. How the hell did they get a conviction out of that? I don't understand that.
Well, it's a jury. You're just prying on ignorance and manipulation.
So I can also tell you the other thing. So there were people that were going to come in, weapons for the defense, that would have explained why all of this is wrong. And Judge Merchan did not allow them to, and that's why he's going to get in trouble.
Going to be winning appeal. He'll get in
deep shit for it. He'll get in deep shit for it, because as long as the appeal is somewhat fair, if this wasn't fair, I don't know why we're assuming that 100% the appeal is going to be fair, unless it goes to a federal level, unless we talk to the Supreme Court, which is at least balanced in our favor. But they did all of these things and it did not allow information. So the jury, who, by the way, is in a predominantly left, it's 90+% blue jury pool. So who knows which way they lean. There's two attorneys. Attorneys are typically going to lean far left. They talked about one of the attorneys took a whole book of notes so that he was the plan. He's the one that obviously had to go through and convince the rest of the jury that he was guilty across the board. So you had all of these things going against Trump, and they did not allow, Judge Merchan did not allow, it's like a ref that's not calling a foul for the other team. He did not allow the information for the jurors to understand why what they were hearing was false. So that's why it was fixed across the board.
Mm-hmm.
Sad day for our country, y'all.
So here's the question I have for you, Cash. You were on yet, and this is where I struggled, because I'm like, is this a trap, or is this the time where we as conservatives, or whatever we want to call ourselves, because again, I don't even like the term conservative at this point. I think it's all bullshit. But is this the time that we actually rise up and protest? Like, this is like, to me, this is like, how are we not? If he would have been found innocent on 34 charges, there would have been riots in the street, and it would have probably, and I'm not saying from leftists, it would have been planned. It would have been Soros. It would have been whatever. There would have been bricks planted. It would have been this whole massive thing. But now, did they finally push us far enough where we should do something? And I think we should. The problem is that what they want? I don't trust anything anymore after January 6th. Do they want us to hit the streets and then all of a sudden pull in the same Fed boys, the same
right
plans?
now, bro? Ain't no standing up. Not that way. Protest, that's out the question. That's not happening. And it's two reasons. Number one, January 6th, people already are like, yo, we ain't doing that. Number two, if people did go out, it ain't gonna be the protest. So if there was let me tell you, if there was a protest right now that if across the board, people on the right were like, you know what, we're coming out and protest, it would turn into a nationwide January 6th. And the reason I say that is because you have people who are super angry that are like MAGA Republicans that are really angry with the way that things are going. But then you also have the far left who will pose as MAGA to make sure, because really that's all, this is all the left wants. Antifa, we'll use that word, that group. That's all they want is a breakdown of government. So you better believe if they knew that there were people that were like January 6th that would go out and take a stand in a very different type of way, you better believe they're going to show up in MAGA hats and pretend to be MAGA and encourage all of it to try to cause chaos, to essentially try to fight the government, which would only lead to martial law, and not just martial law, but a lot of arrests and deaths. Because at that point, you're declaring martial law, you're bringing in military. So now you have the military divided against the people that it is supposed to protect, because you don't know who's who. You don't know who's who. Like you were saying, to bring up the Israel-Palestine deal, how you asked the question, how do you know who's the good Palestinians, is what you said. It'll be the same exact thing. How would you know who's the good protesters? You won't.
You won't.
So it ain't happening.
No, the way you fix this is you show up on November 5th.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think this, there was an element, the only positive I could think of is, and again, I think that him being found guilty is not a bad thing. Him being found guilty across the board, I don't think it poses great, because it just gives them fodder. But I remember hearing a bunch of hearing about Texans that were so disenfranchised with the voting system. They're like, we were cheated, we were this, we were that they even said, they're like, I'm not voting this year. Screw that. It's not worth anything. It's a bullshit vote. I think at this point, maybe this will make people go, I know that I think it's bullshit, but I got to go. I got to show up. I got to do something, because this country's going to shit.
There is a way to get people to stand up without any of that. But
how is it?
It's hard to get everybody on the same page to be able to do it.
So what does that look like?
Stop spending money.
Like that?
No, you can't do that.
Yeah,
how are you going to stop spending money?
Just stop spending money.
But what does that look like?
Live a lot lighter. Live a lot lighter. Buy less of what you don't need. Only get the essential things that you need. Stop going out to restaurants. Stop going and buying stuff from these stores. Stop going out to movie theaters. Stop doing everything. Stop driving so much. Don't buy gas. Those things.
I think
that's a nationwide protest. We're not going to spend our money in America no more, unless it's with a conservative-minded group. That's it. Everybody come together.
I don't disagree.
Watch TV. Like turn off the news, cut everything. We're not viewing anything. That would be the strongest form of protest right there. Watching numbers shoot down.
It's impossible.
I don't think it's
improbable.
Very improbable.
You can't get people to unite enough to make that happen.
Well, that's what I just said.
So it's you can't get people to stop spending money, in the sense that they still have to go to work. They still have to live. So they're still going to spend money. There's nothing you can do about that. Again,
and here's the thing.
Solution is November 5th.
Yeah. And here's the problem with it is a lot of the people that would be the ones that feel as strongly as you, as strongly as us, are the people that rely on fossil fuels, the people that rely on, that have bigger families, the ones that, these, and even if, they could spend their dollar differently, but I don't think that
that's what I mean. I'm not saying don't spend money at all. I'm saying don't entertain the people that are okay with the stuff that is going on, that push it, that have kept it in your face for so long. Don't support it. It's that simple.
Now that I agree with. Don't go to Targets. Don't go to, find the grocery stores that are a little less woke, for God's sakes. But I still don't know if that has the effect we're looking for, except for November 5th to go out and vote. I don't think there is anything besides winning a landslide victory. I think we need to, and people that are Republicans in California or Republicans in ultra red places that are like blue or red. If you're in a state that you're like, my vote doesn't matter. I think we need to win the popular vote to shut people up. I don't want people to be like, well, it's only because of the Electoral College. We need to win in a fucking landslide. It needs to be something that takes the the ulterior vote on a national level and shuts them up so they don't have anything to say except for I lost. Like, that's it.
This whole thing is just crazy. I ain't gonna lie, bro. It's like shocking.
This was actually considered an AP alert. Sorry,
if you can get out of New York and not spend a dime in New York, that is one good way.
Yeah. Get out of New York. That's smart. That's one thing. But again, you can't tell people to uproot their families over this.
No,
like, it's a
you
great
can't.
idea.
It's hard.
But that if you can get out of New York, that is one way to do it.
Yeah. I don't know. This is, I mean, I just today, like, you know, I knew that it was coming. I thought that whatever it was, but when it was actually read and it was as big of a deal, like, so AP does bulletins. That's how AP gives their news. AP did a news alert, which is like the same as like a president dying. Like, this is like big, as alert means this is everything. 5-alarm fire. This is what's happening in the country. And it shows this is a big deal. This is the first, we have a president that just got convicted of felonies for something that business people, for the most part, don't even get slaps on the wrist for. I need to flip a flag upside down. That's what I need right now. This is, I mean, this is that's where we're at. Flags upside down, period.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that's all I got. All right.
One of them days, bro, dragging, right? It's just like, I don't even know how to feel. I mean, I know how to feel. I just don't know how to express it, I guess.
Well, I went ham in the first 15 minutes. So this is, it's just.
I put up a prayer. I ain't going to lie. I say, God, man, bless this country, man. Keep us safe. And that's it.
Yeah. Alex Jones is, and he's been wrong before, but he's saying that this is a setup for a false flag, which is another reason I say we can't protest. Like, in my heart, like, this is the first time I was like, I'm going to drive my 2 hours ass to a city and get out there and like make my voice heard. And I'm like, this is a setup. This is a gigantic setup. It is. It wants us to come in numbers so that they can infiltrate it and just bury us even further. We did something that was so not the way it looked on January 6th. And it was turned into the biggest piece of election fodder that we could possibly have for the opposite side. That you heard Robert De Niro not just talk about the president, he talked about us, which to that, I say, I used to love your movies. Robert De Niro, you can take a rusty tire iron and shove it up your ass. Like, by the way, what's the painter's name? The funny guy?
Simmons?
No, he's the Republican painter. You know, I've had him on the
Biden.
show. No,
Hunter Biden.
Not Hunter. No, the Republican guy. God, he's hilarious. The Italian that we've had on the show, Casey.
Oh, freaking hell! I just scrolled past his page.
He did a painting of Trump as Ali, Trump's head on Ali.
Yeah, I've seen that.
He unveiled it. That's what's his name? Scott LeBedo. Scott's been on our show before. Great guy. Hilarious, by the way. He did a painting with Trump being Ali, and then was it Frazier on the ground? No. What was that photo taken from? I think it was Frazier. Anyways, or no, it was Sonny Liston. Sonny Liston. I'm an idiot. I should know that. So Sonny Liston on the ground, but they used the head of Robert De Niro, and he called it Crybaby. Yeah. Anyways, how do you protest on social media?
What about a
social
media protest?
Everybody that's watching right now, whether you are Republican, Democrat, left or right, this is concerning for all Americans, man. That's it. Like, if y'all can't see the need for us to really have to come together, the people, not the politicians. You already know how I feel about that. Politicians, but the people, I love y'all. I love my friends that are Democrats, liberals. I love you guys, right? We got to come together, man, because this is crazy. If they could do that to them, you see what happened with January 6th. How they locked up a whole bunch of people just for literally protesting. Now, some people went and did other things. I'm not, saying that, but people that were just standing there got charged. You know what I'm saying? That was the start of this. Now they went for Trump, a former sitting president, and they convicted him. This is on some BS. On some BS. So if they can do that to him, better believe they can do it. I understand what he meant before when he said, believe me, they don't want me, they want you. I'm just standing in the way. It's true. It's true.
I want to make a statement on this, and Cash, you didn't hear in the beginning. Casey and I spent 15, 20 minutes before we started to look, and I'm on DuckDuckGo, not even on Google. The suppression of, so I've heard it. I've even seen it on CNN, not just on Fox, talking about why there's issues with this trial. I cannot find a single search to give me bulleted exact reasons. I had to peel from different places and my own memory and all the different things that I've watched. It is so difficult to find information on what exactly Marshawn did. And this, I'm on DuckDuckGo and I was searching forever. It shows that everything is bought and paid for at this point.
Yeah.
What's up, Liddell? And I love to hear his
Liddell.
response. Have you done an Instagram live with Liddell yet?
No, I haven't. I'd love to though.
You guys should do a live together. He's super brilliant business dude. He's real estate and has I would love to hear his opinion. So maybe you guys should connect later tonight and talk about it because you guys would be super interesting on this. So
for sure. Yeah, man. Pray for our country, you guys. Real talk.
Do you guys got 15 minutes? I can send the message.
Yeah,
what?
Come on, bring them on.
All right, Liddell. Let me see if I'll send you the link. Give me a second. Let's have Liddell come up. But wait, there's my, I said there's gonna be 15 minutes, and here we are at 35. Sorry, Casey. And I'm same boat. I got a million things to do, but I would love to have him up here. So let's get him.
Just not getting our tech shit done. That's all.
I know. Liddell, I'm sending it. Send it to your text right now. Right now. If you got it. We'll hang out for a minute or two. If somehow you don't get it and you've had to change your number, then we got to do something else. This is frustrating.
All in all, Trump will be reelected on November 5th, 2024. This just solidified it. Like, how many millions of dollars do you think he's going to get donated to in the next 24 hours? Let me rephrase that. That was worded really weird. How many millions of dollars is Donald Trump going to get?
What up, Cass? How you doing, big time?
Millions. Casey asked the question, Liddell. I'll let you jump in first on this one. How many millions of dollars do you think Trump's going to raise in the next 24 hours?
He'll probably raise anywhere from 50 to 100 million, maybe 200 million easy.
I mean, I'm back to thinking that I donated last time. I might put $100 in there at this point, for goodness sakes. And they crashed. So they're saying that it was crashed because I know the donation site went down. It was crashed. It's hilarious. That just shows how big a bullshit this is. Cash, meet Liddell. Liddell, meet Cash. He's been on Blunt Force Discussion. Friends with Sunni. Got to meet him over a couple of years ago now. Does one of the bigger real estate investors that I know in the flesh. Smooth, buttery voice. He likes to break from a very intelligent perspective.
There you go.
But yeah, Liddell, what's your thought on all this?
Not surprised at all. When I saw how, and I really got it from the liberal attorneys and some conservative ones as well, what was going on in the courtroom when the judge was not allowing for an FEC expert, a former director of the FEC, to come in to refute what Michael Cohen and other guys were saying. And when he kicked out everybody out of the courtroom and then excoriated the defense guest, the former attorney of Michael Cohen, I just said, yeah, this is rigged. This is rigged. Right. I wasn't surprised because the same thing came with the Eugene Carroll trash. The same thing came from the other judge, trash. This is trash as well. I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you are crying Black Lives Matter, you cool with this? Shut up.
I heard that.
Shut
100%.
up. Because what's happening to a white man, Donald Trump, is what happened to us back in the day. And now you cool with it? Trash. Garbage. Shut your ass up.
You know, it's interesting. You brought up the Eugene Carroll. So this is to me the funny thing. So he lost Eugene Carroll. He lost the real estate trial. He lost the felony trial right here. So we thought that he would beat most of them. He's 0 for 3 right now, and he's more popular than ever.
And they're all in New York. All of them are in New York. Every
right.
last one.
And the Fannie Willis is falling apart. That's not even going to happen. And then you've got the Jack Smith one. That's not going to happen because he all
the way screwed up. Jack Smith, he's an idiot. Yeah, I ain't worried about
that's a
the
great
other one,
judge.
man. But these
Okay.
three though, that's like, damn, New York is, they are corrupt.
Extremely
Not
corrupt.
not the people. I ain't talking about you brothers and sisters that live out there. I'm talking about your government, the government of New York, and especially in New York City.
Yeah.
Yo, whew, that
Yeah.
shit's crazy. I'm not talking about all the way through the judicial
No.
system, the legislative, they're all corrupt. All corrupt.
And notice how none of the verbiage coming out on the liberal side has anything to do with their accomplishments. I asked the
Yeah.
liberals one question: if everything is going so good, why not run on it? Start talking about black and white and race. Run on your record. It's good. So says you. Run on it. Shut up about race. But you won't do it at all because it sucks. I have one question for the liberals. With all the policies that you guys actually said that were actually passed, how did it make my life, Cash life, Casey's life, and Anthony's life better? And go.
Another thing too, in the comment down there says that, but the people of New York elect those people. I want to tell you, all right, you'll notice this. When me telling you this, you're going to notice this now. In larger cities within the states, there is a greater population of uneducated voters who know nothing about what they're even voting for. All right.
Correct.
Now, when you get into smaller towns, then you have people who are politically educated and they know exactly what it is that they're voting for, which is why these small towns do a lot better. This is why there's less crime. This is why you could go there and feel at ease and at peace, getting away from a bigger city. But when you go into a bigger city, you're dealing with people who are living a fast-paced life, who do not have time to care about what's going on in politics.
They don't.
That's why then people get elected over there in places like New York City and over here like Chicago and all these other bigger cities. You go out in California and every one of them, LA, all of them, it's the same thing. It's busy. So you have uneducated voters over there. That's all it is.
You know what I find
everywhere.
Sorry, go ahead, Casey.
They're everywhere. Like, how many people know how to elect a judge? Like, how to look up a judge's record to be able to make a decision? You're talking 90-something% of people just check a box when it comes to judges. Now, New York, thankfully, you have an opportunity. I don't know when he's up for re-election, but it is your opportunity to recognize this name and remove him. But we're going to just have to see if New York really wants to do that.
Yeah. I would say if there's an election coming up, guys. Now you have to make it. You have to really start voting. Forget it's evil and good. Get none of that stuff. Vote on whose policies make your life better.
The policy's all that matters.
Yep.
That's it. That is it. And if you vote for the other side, stop complaining. I got to give it to him. What Joe Biden said he's going to do on the campaign trail, he's did as president. He said this. So if you're a liberal, why are you complaining? You should be celebrating. Higher gas prices, high everything. You know what I'm saying? High interest rates. This is what he said he was going to do. So why are you complaining? You should be celebrating about this.
Man, bro, me and you need to talk more. That right there. This whole little tidbit right here is a great reel. This would be a great short. You know what I'm saying?
Donald Trump will be speaking tomorrow at 11 a.m. at Trump Tower.
Good. I'll be tuning in.
The greatest speech he's ever given. Most important.
And one last thing, Rosu, my bad. Yeah. Notice how I think President Biden is speaking tonight about this trial.
Yeah,
he had nothing to do with it at all.
But it's not political, guys. This is not political.
This is the justice. It's not political. So here's what I want to, one last thing I want to talk about, because we talked about Robert De Niro, and I hear a lot of the conservative side, and we've said it before. Like, I wish celebrities would just shut up when it comes to politics, and I don't necessarily agree with that statement, because I know they're out of touch with the reality. But this is what I want to notice. If you watch what Robert De Niro did yesterday, it was ad hominems. It was calling him a clown, saying he believes in sexual abuse, sexual abuse of women, which is incorrect. It's not. There's nothing factual about it. There's also Republicans. Here's what I want. I want celebrities, when they want to talk shit, I want them to back it up with their why. The leftist ones go, he's garbage. We should raid the White. We should destroy this. He's terrible. He's an abuser. He's this. I hate him. He's dumb. He's a dictator. Tell me why. And you have to back it up with proof. And if you listen to some of the conservative actors that are still out there, like, you've got Angelina Jolie's dad is one that's outspoken, John Voight, and then you've got the other older actor. Why am I drawing blanks on their names? There's two that are outspoken and older, but if you hear them talk, you could put them on like a Fox News where they're allowed to speak or wherever it might be. They give you why Joe Biden is dangerous. They give you why Joe Biden's economy is bad. They give you, look at the immigration policies that have gotten us here. James Woods, thank you very much, Stevie. That's what I was thinking of. He's the most brilliant out of all of them. And it's like, people are going to say, well, you just like celebrities that are on your side. No, not actually at all. I want a celebrity that's going to give me a rational reason why they believe somebody is a clown. And when it comes to the celebrities on the left, all they're doing is throwing insults that allow the leftist base that doesn't eat anything but Trump bad in order to make a uneducated opinion. That's my opinion on it.
You know, I ain't gonna sit here and stunt to y'all, man. When I was sitting in that car, bro, this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm telling the truth, and I don't like to admit stuff like this because, you know, I'm Cash, but I'm gonna admit it. I had a brief moment of anxiety, like fear. I don't know. I can't explain exactly why, but I had I'm like, really, I can tell you. I started thinking, I'm getting back into this political stuff and I'm talking about all these things again, and I'm starting to gain some more traction. And what if I'm being, you know, I know I'm being watched, but what if they're like, you know what? Okay, this dude he's saying too much now. And me thinking like, okay, Trump, what if they lock this dude up? You know what I'm saying? I know I say that they can't, but what if they do? You know what I'm saying? What if they do? And if they do, then it's like, yo, everybody who has a big voice out there and is willing to stand up and say what needs to be said and do what needs to be done, yeah, you're at risk now. Now you're a target because, you know, we got your leader. We captured your flag. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I had a moment of fear, and it's just like, yo, do you keep going? You know? And for a moment, I was like, yo, I'm not doing this. I'm about to just stop while I'm ahead. But obviously, y'all know me. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm always just staying true to Cash, so I'm going to keep going. But yeah, man, a brief moment of fear was like, damn, dude, they could really fuck us up. If they got him, they could do anything.
I still live in a place of knowing that, you know, I think that I'm good. I mean, I had the FBI come to my house because I was at January 6th. I think I'm fine. But at any given point, I still see people 3 years after the fact that are having their homes raided. Like I said earlier, I go, you know, part of me wants to say we need to take to the streets, but I know that verbiage can get me in trouble. If I go out and decide to protest and I rallied a base, that was the first question I got from the FBI was, do you believe Be the Change could be deemed a domestic terror organization? Like,
wow.
Be the Change. Like, could you be blamed for inciting violence? I'm like, no, listen to the name. It's Be the Change. Like, but yeah, I guess we could fake things. Like, I don't understand. So to know that we're in a country, and I mean, part of me has spoken out over the last 3 years and 4 years and not cared. But you can't tell me, I can't tell you that there wasn't 5% of me that was like, when am I going to say something that they're going to finally come to my door again? And now, we're at a point where I don't know what they want to silence. The bigger I get, the bigger Cash gets, the bigger Liddell gets, Casey, all of us, the bigger we get, the bigger risk we become, which therefore makes us a target. That's why, you know, I mean, you want my total opinion on Cash Kelly is when he got to 400,000 followers and he was going out and changing votes in people's face, having those social media conversations, and people were saying, Cash, you're changing my opinion. I didn't think about that with Trump. I didn't think about that with Democrats. I didn't think about all that. Cash had a weak spot. Cash's weak spot was his past. You've got the David Harrises of the world. You can like him or not like him, whatever it might be. You've got all these people that have clean backgrounds where they can't be found guilty of things. Cash had a background where they knew that they could get him. And if you want me to believe that Cash was targeted, I will bet you that he was targeted. He was targeted because
the real street nigga out in the world and then changing people's minds about being a conservative or being a liberal or being a Democrat, being a Republican, while just using common sense and showing facts. I didn't lie to nobody. I told everybody what was real history, real history. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you're definitely, bro. I believe me. I've thought about that many days sitting in my cell. Like if you just would have stayed away from the politics, you would be fine at home right now. You would have never got no time, no nothing. You would have been chilling. You know what I'm saying? And it's I feel that's what I'm saying. When that fear hit me, that's the stuff that I think about. It's like you're going down this road again.
I have a question, Cash. I have a question. When you went into the Capitol, was there anybody that you don't know that was potentially like part of the group going, come on. I've never asked you this question directly. Was there somebody that you have no idea who they are now? Because you and I were not together. We were separate.
Yes, I've seen there was multiple.
Was there anybody that you can look and go, did they specifically say whatever, like, bro, come with me? And like they were talking to you, it feels like, if you were to have that memory.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
Huh.
100%.
We'll talk about that more.
100%. The night before when I was sitting inside the lobby in the hotel, what was it? We stayed at the Grand Hyatt.
Yeah.
It was at the Grand Hyatt. We was down there in the lobby and I was talking with a whole group of people. They would treat me like I was a celebrity. They wanted to hang out with me and have beers and just talk. And we did. A lot of them people were really, really cool. But some of them people I do have questions about now because I understood they were like planning things like, yo, we're going to get up at 6 o'clock. You got to come with us. We're going to go over here. We're going to, you know what I'm saying? And then when I didn't show up at 6 o'clock, because remember, we didn't leave until later.
Yeah.
Then people was down there waiting.
Yeah.
Why weren't they there at 6 o'clock?
I think back to the whole thing, like you got your hotels paid for, like they wanted you there so badly. They paid for we didn't. No, they paid for one of our hotel rooms. Kelly and I stayed in my RV. Like in retrospect, it seems like, and again, there's bad guys on both sides. Like
there are. I tell everybody, strategy is the key. Strategy. When I ran for public office in Texas, I noticed that, and the strategy I'm talking about, mine came from the Republican side. That my attack.
I forgot about that.
So I just said, okay, it's strategy. And when you are very good and articulate at communicating ideas in a nice, succinct way, right? Then what happens if you don't fit within that network of people who they can groom? Because I was killing their candidates in my race in debates. It was easy. It was common sense. It was fiscal stuff. It was simple stuff, and they can have that. No, sir. So a lot of them come back to me now and ask for money. They ask for me to donate for the campaign. And I always say, hold on, we got to talk about something.
Bro.
We sorry. We sorry. Great. So how are we going to do this? We're going to do this. And so we see how it goes. Strategy is the key.
Bro, look, there's so much when I look back at it now, like I'm Russo and Casey, you already know who it is in the forefront of my mind. I haven't spoken about it since I've been home, but in the forefront of my mind, there is one in particular person that I feel was a part of a major setup that had to do with January 6th.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
Is it who I'm really thinking of?
Maybe.
Actually, the more okay, we'll talk. We'll hit stop, and I'm going to have a quick conversation with you.
All right.
Because it just answered one of the questions I've always had. But anyways, all right. Any final words? Let's do final words. Let's start with Liddell.
And thanks so much for the platform. I always like talking to Casey and Russo and Cash. You and I met through Sunni on Instagram. Love what you talking about, big dog. You cool with Sunni, you cool with me, big dog.
Yeah, you my bro,
you
man.
wise as well. For sure, man. I would say, guys, moving forward in November, I know people are kind of butthurt concerning what's going on with the Trump. Rocking with you. We on one accord. What you gonna do about it? You're gonna sit on the sidelines and you're gonna complain and say stuff is rigged and things are gonna get stolen, or you're gonna strategize. I always say do the 10, 10, and 10. Call 10 people, text 10 people, and bring 10 people with you to the polls. 10, 10, and 10. Strategy is the key.
Facts. I like that.
There you go. Cash, go for it.
Man, I gotta I got a message I want to put out. I think I'm gonna do a little live later, or maybe create a short, or video. But yeah, I'm just gonna talk because there's a lot of stuff going through my head right now about this country, bro. And then I know people think like this. How does this affect us? So what? Trump got convicted. What? Man, I'm just a deep thinker or a critical thinker, and I'm looking too deep into things, but it affects the whole country. Everybody. It affects you, man. We're gonna talk about it later, but I hope everybody out there is having a great night, man. God bless you guys, and like I say, pray for our country, man.
Casey, what do you got?
You know what to do. November 5th is your day. Show up and vote, and don't trust the government.
Love it. I think I want a shirt. I texted you guys in the group. I want to make a shirt that we'll add to our website that says proud. What did I say? Proud to be voting for a Republican or for a
Felon.
Proud to vote for a felon. I think that's funny as shit, personally. And we're grifters, grifters that have never made any profit. But whatever. All right, that'll be all I got. Cash, take us home.
Unite, don't fight. Be a street light, because only you can be the change you wish to see in the world. And when you get too stressed out, you got to remember to pray, America, because without God, everything falls apart.